Leaders based on our entrance poll in this key race alert. Here are the early leaders based on our CNN entrance poll in the Democratic caucuses. Joe Biden, Pete Buttigieg, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Biden, Buttigieg, Sanders, Warren. They are the early leaders. Remember, these are the early results from our entrance poll of voters on their way in to the caucuses. They could still change their minds once they get inside, so this may not necessarily reflect the ultimate winner. All right, first of all, it says 95%. It's not 95%. It's 62%. That's a mistake right there. But take a look. With 62% of the precincts reporting, you can see you're going to the left part of your screen, Buttigieg, 26.9%. Sanders, 25.1%. Warren, 18.3%. Biden, 15.6%. Klobuchar, 12.6%. Yang, 1.1%. Steyer, 0.3%. Now it's been corrected. You can see 62% of the precincts reporting there. By the way, you can see Bloomberg at 0% and Tulsi Gabbard at 0% as well. Let me repeat right now. These are the results with 62% of the precincts reporting. These are the state delegates, the all-important state delegates, which will determine the winner of the Iowa caucuses. Once again, Pete Buttigieg with 26.9% of the state delegates. Bernie Sanders, 25.1%. Elizabeth Warren, 18.3%. Joe Biden, right now over there in fourth place, 15.6%. Klobuchar, 12.6%. Yang, 1.1%. Steyer, 0.3%. And Bloomberg and Gabbard, 0%. Bloomberg was never campaigning in Iowa to begin. All right, so let's take a look for the top 7, the popular vote that we have these numbers just released right now. Once again, 62% of the precincts reporting. In the popular vote, Bernie Sanders is ahead by 1,190. He's got 28,220 over Pete Buttigieg, 27,030, who's in second place in the popular vote. Elizabeth Warren in third place, 22,254. Joe Biden in fourth place, 14,176. Amy Klobuchar, fifth place, 13,357. Andrew Yang, you can see him over there, 1,124. Tom Steyer, 122. That's the popular vote that we're getting right now, officially released. These are the official results from the Iowa Democratic Party. But remember, the popular vote is interesting, but it's the state delegates who will determine the winner of the Iowa caucuses. And you can see with 62% of the precincts reporting, among the state delegates, Pete Buttigieg is in the lead right now. 26.9%. Bernie Sanders in second place with 25.1%. 18.3% for Elizabeth Warren. Joe Biden in fourth place, 15.6%. But remember, 38% of the precincts remain at large. We don't have those results yet. And the party chairman, Troy Price, did not tell us when we would get the remaining precincts.
4 days after Iowa, we finally have results. With 100% of precincts reporting, Pete Buttigieg holds a razor-thin lead of 0.1 of 1 percentage point over Bernie Sanders. That's in the state delegate count, the yardstick used to determine a winner. Elizabeth Warren, Joe Biden, and Amy Klobuchar rounding out the top 5.
Sanders still has reason to celebrate, edging out Buttigieg by more than 2,600 in the popular vote.
We have our first key race alert of the night. Very, very early. Less than 1% of the vote is in, but you can take a look at the numbers that have just been announced. Bernie Sanders in first place with 28.8%. He's 98 votes ahead of Amy Klobuchar in second place with 25.7%. Pete Buttigieg, 18.6%. Elizabeth Warren, 13.1%. Joe Biden, 6.5%. Andrew Yang, 2.5%. Tulsi Gabbard, 2.4%. Tom Steyer, 2.3%. Remember, very, very early, less than 1% of the vote is in. All right, we got another key race alert right now. 3% of the vote in New Hampshire now in. Bernie Sanders remains on top with 25.9%. He's 311 votes ahead of Amy Klobuchar. Very tight race, at least right now, for second place. Amy Klobuchar, 22.2%. Pete Buttigieg, 22.1%. Elizabeth Warren, she's down in fourth place, 10.5%. Joe Biden in fifth place, 8.6%. Tulsi Gabbard, 3.3%. Tom Steyer, 3.2%. Andrew Yang, 2.7%. 3% of the vote in. 6% of the vote now in. 6% of the vote in. Looks like a bit of a three-way race for first place. Bernie Sanders, 27.2%. Pete Buttigieg, 22.4%. Amy Klobuchar, 21%. Elizabeth Warren in fourth place, distantly at 9.6%. Joe Biden in fifth place, 8.5%. Tulsi Gabbard, Tom Steyer, Andrew Yang, they round out the field right now. Anderson, thanks very much. It's 8 p.m. here on the East Coast. All the polls in New Hampshire are now closed. Let's get a key race alert where things stand right now. 14% of the vote estimated now in. Bernie Sanders maintaining his lead, 28.4%. To Pete Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar. Pete Buttigieg, 22.2%. Amy Klobuchar, 20.5%. It's very close between the top three with 14% of the estimated vote in. Elizabeth Warren in fourth place, 9.4%. Joe Biden in fifth place, 8.5%. Tom Steyer, 3.7%. Tulsi Gabbard, 3.3%. Andrew Yang, 2.9%. 20% of the estimated vote is now in. Bernie Sanders maintains his lead with 27.7%. Pete Buttigieg with 22.6%. Amy Klobuchar, 20.8%. Elizabeth Warren, she's down in fourth place, 9.5%. Joe Biden, he's down in fifth place, 8.6%. The remaining candidates, they are below. Let's take a look at the counties. We've been showing you the townships earlier, but take a look at the counties in New Hampshire right now. You can see the light blue is Bernie Sanders is leading in those counties. Pete Buttigieg is leading in one county in New Hampshire right now. All right, we got a key race alert right now. 23% of the estimated vote now in, and Bernie Sanders maintains his lead with 27.7%. Pete Buttigieg in second place, 23.1%. Amy Klobuchar third, 20.4%. Elizabeth Warren, she's down at only 9.4%. In fourth place, Joe Biden in fifth place, 8.7%. We got a key race alert right now. Look at this. 32%, almost a third of the vote is now in, and the lead remains with Bernie Sanders, 27.8%. Pete Buttigieg in second place, 23.5%. Amy Klobuchar in third place, 20%. Elizabeth Warren, she's down at 9.6%. Joe Biden, 8.8%. The rest of the field not doing well as all. Thanks very much. We got a key race alert right now. The polls have been closed in New Hampshire for an hour. 40% of the estimated vote is in. Very impressive. Bernie Sanders maintains his lead with 27.6%. Buttigieg in second place, 23.5%. Amy Klobuchar, 19.8% in third place. Elizabeth Warren, she's down in fourth place, 9.5%. Joe Biden in fifth place, 8.6%. And the rest of the candidates not doing well at all. We got a key race alert right now. Almost half of the vote is in. 46% of the estimated vote is now in. Bernie Sanders maintains his lead with 27.7%. Pete Buttigieg in second place, 23.4%. Amy Klobuchar, 19.5% in third place. Elizabeth Warren, she's down at 9.4%. Fourth place, Joe Biden, fifth place with 8.6%. The other candidates not doing well as all. Got a key race alert right now with 62% of the estimated vote now in. It's getting a little tighter for first and second place. Bernie Sanders with 26.5%. Pete Buttigieg, 23.8%. Amy Klobuchar in third percent with 20%. Elizabeth Warren, fourth place, 9.3%. Joe Biden, look at this, fifth place, 8.5%. Tom Steyer, Tulsi Gabbard, Andrew Yang down below. We have another key race alert right now. 66% of the estimated vote is now in. Bernie Sanders maintains his lead over Pete Buttigieg, 26.4% to 23.9%. He's got a lead of 4,764 votes. Amy Klobuchar in third place with 20%. Elizabeth Warren, 9.3%. Joe Biden, 8.5%. We got a key race alert, almost three-quarters of the vote in, 73%. It's getting tight between Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg. Only 2 points separate Bernie Sanders with 26.1%, Pete Buttigieg 24.1%, Amy Klobuchar 20%, Elizabeth Warren down at 9.3%. All right, we got a key race alert. Take a look at it. It's getting closer right now. Only 1.7% difference between Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg, 26%. to 24.3%. That's as close as it's been in the last couple hours. Amy Klobuchar, Elizabeth Warren, they're in third and fourth place. All right, CNN has a major projection right now. CNN projects that Bernie Sanders will win the New Hampshire Democratic presidential primary. This is CNN's projection. We just heard from Bernie Sanders. CNN's projection based on the actual votes, based on exit poll information.
Breaking overnight, Senator Bernie Sanders wins the New Hampshire primary. With 97% of the votes counted, Sanders leads with 25.9% of the vote. Former Mayor Pete Buttigieg is right behind him, posting an impressive second-place finish. Senator Amy Klobuchar coming in third, outperforming expectations there, and lagging behind Senator Elizabeth Warren coming in fourth, followed by former Vice President Joe Biden, who is in fifth.
All right, we got some new numbers coming in. We've got a key race alert. All right, take a look at this. Very, very early, 1% if that, of the precincts reporting. But you can see Bernie Sanders is on top with 422 votes. These are popular votes. Elizabeth Warren, second place, 350. Pete Buttigieg, 279. Amy Klobuchar, 231. Joe Biden, 215. Tom Steyer, 9. Tulsi Gabbard, 1. This is an important reminder. These are early popular vote results based on select precincts throughout the state. They may not, repeat, they may not be representative of how the overall state is voting, but some early numbers. All right, we got another key race alert. More numbers coming in. 5% of the precincts now on the board. Take a look at this. Shaping up to be, it's still early, but looking pretty good for Bernie Sanders. He's ahead with 3,169 votes. That's the popular vote. Joe Biden right now in second place, 1,471. Pete Buttigieg, 1,174. Elizabeth Warren, 1,044. Amy Klobuchar, 562. Tom Steyer, 279. Tulsi Gabbard, 6 votes. Remember, this is still very, very early in the process, but it's shaping up looking pretty good for Senator Sanders right now. All right, we got another key race alert. Welcome back. Take a look at this. 7%. 7% of the precincts now reporting the popular vote. Bernie Sanders remains on top with 4,229 votes. He's 2,385 ahead of Joe Biden, who's in second place right now, 1,844. Pete Buttigieg, 1,492 in third place. Elizabeth Warren in fourth place, 1,218. Amy Klobuchar in fifth place, 756. Tom Steyer, 453. Tulsi Gabbard, 7 votes. Dana, back to you. All right, we got a key race alert right now. This is the first time we've gotten actual county delegate numbers coming in from the Nevada Democratic Party. Only 1% of the precincts reporting right now, but look at this. Bernie Sanders, 29.3%. Elizabeth Warren, 18.7%. Biden, 17.3%. Buttigieg, 17.3%. Klobuchar, 9.3%, and Steyer and Tulsi Gabbard follow up. Remember, the county delegates will determine the winner of the Nevada caucuses. Let's take a look at the popular vote that's coming in right now. This is 10%, a lot more. These are the numbers that we've obtained. Bernie Sanders, he's still ahead with 6,048. It's about 3,300 votes ahead of Joe Biden, who's in second place, 2,707. Buttigieg, 2,449. Warren, 1,575. Klobuchar, 1,068. Steyer and Tulsi Gabbard follow up. All right, we have a major projection to make right now. And CNN can now project that Bernie Sanders is the winner of the Nevada caucuses. This is another important victory for the senator in the most diverse state to vote so far, and it catapults his campaign and the progressive movement forward. It strengthens his status as the clear Democratic frontrunner. Bernie Sanders, the winner of the Nevada Democratic presidential caucuses.
Senator Bernie Sanders comes up with another huge victory on the campaign trail. CNN is projecting the Vermont senator to win the Nevada caucuses, pulling in nearly 50% of the county delegates confirmed so far.
The polls are about to close in South Carolina. This is a make or break moment for Joe Biden's presidential campaign, and we can now make a major projection. CNN projects that Joe Biden is the winner in South Carolina. This is the former vice president's first primary victory. He was counting on South Carolina to help keep his campaign going. This gives Biden a much-needed boost as he looks to challenge the frontrunner Bernie Sanders on Super Tuesday. That's only 3 days from now. Joe Biden, the winner of the South Carolina Democratic primary. All right, we got a key race alert right now. The first numbers are just coming in very, very early. We've already projected Joe Biden as the winner. But look at this, these first numbers showing right now that Biden has more than 70% of the vote. Tom Steyer right now in second place at 12.2%. Bernie Sanders, 10.8%. Everybody else, Elizabeth Warren, Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, Tulsi Gabbard, trailing way, way behind. Those are early, very early numbers, but you get a sense of why we were able to make an early projection for Joe Biden. We got a key race alert, a very impressive win for the former Vice President Joe Biden, a blowout win in South Carolina, the Democratic presidential primary. Take a look at this, more than half of the vote. The estimated vote is now in. 56% of the vote is in. And look at this. Joe Biden has 50.1%. The second place right now, Bernie Sanders, only 19%. Tom Steyer, third place, 11.7%. Pete Buttigieg, all in single digits, the remainder. Pete Buttigieg, 7.7%. Elizabeth Warren, 6.6%. Amy Klobuchar, only 3.1%. Tulsi Gabbard, she's at 1.1%. Very, very impressive win for Joe Biden. Welcome back. Let's get another key race alert right now. 81% of the estimated vote is now in. They're doing an impressive job counting votes in South Carolina. Quickly, Joe Biden is clearly the winner, 49.2% right now, way ahead of Bernie Sanders, who only has 19.5%. Tom Steyer, who has just announced he's dropping out, 11.5%. Everybody else in single digits. Buttigieg, 7.9%. Warren, 6.9%. Amy Klobuchar, only 3.1%. Tulsi Gabbard, only 1.2%. We certainly will. Voting is about to end in Virginia and Vermont. 115 delegates are on the line in those two states, most of them in the key battleground of Virginia. Vermont is Bernie Sanders' home state. And CNN can now project that Joe Biden will win Virginia. 99 delegates at stake in Virginia. Joe Biden will win the Democratic presidential primary in Virginia. CNN can also now project that Bernie Sanders will win in Vermont. That's his home state, 16 delegates at stake. Bernie Sanders will win the Democratic presidential primary in his home state of Vermont. All right, we're only seconds away from the end of voting in North Carolina. 100 delegates, once again, are on the line. This is the biggest delegate prize so far in the Democratic race, and it could be one of the most competitive battlegrounds. But take a look at this. We have a major projection right now. CNN projects that Joe Biden will win the Democratic presidential primary in North Carolina, the third biggest prize of the night. 110 delegates at stake. Joe Biden is the winner. This is his second win of the night. Earlier, half an hour ago, we projected that he will win Virginia as well. Virginia goes to Biden. North Carolina goes to Biden. Two big wins for the former vice president. We got another projection right now. Michael Bloomberg will win the American territory of American Samoa tonight. 6 delegates are at stake. Michael Bloomberg will win American Samoa. You know, MJ Lee, you're over at Bloomberg headquarters in West Palm Beach right now. So this is, I guess he's not having a great night, but a little bit of silver lining right now. We certainly will. Polling places are about to close in 5 states: Oklahoma, Tennessee, Alabama, Massachusetts, and Maine. A total of 268 delegates are on the line. All right, CNN can now project that Joe Biden will win the Democratic presidential primary in the state of Alabama, where 52 delegates are at stake. Another win for Joe Biden. So Alabama, he's won. North Carolina, he's won. Virginia, he's won. So far, 3 states tonight. Joe Biden has won. We have a key race alert right now. All right, take a look at this. In Massachusetts right now, we cannot project the winner based on the exit poll information, but the early leaders in Massachusetts are, look at this, Biden, Sanders, and Elizabeth Warren. That's her home state. Massachusetts, 91 delegates at stake. In Oklahoma right now, once again, we cannot project a winner. Too early to call. Biden and Sanders, though, are the early leaders in Oklahoma, where 37 delegates are at stake. Similarly, in Maine, look at this. The early leaders, Biden and Sanders, 24 delegates are at stake in Maine right now. We cannot project the winner based on the exit poll information we're getting, at least not yet. The headline, though, is that Alabama, the state of Alabama, has gone, there you can see it, Alabama goes to Joe Biden, another win, his third win of the night. Alabama, North Carolina, and Virginia, three important wins for Joe Biden. It follows Saturday in South Carolina. He had a very impressive, decisive win in South Carolina right now. We have a key race alert right now. Numbers are beginning to come in from Texas, even though the entire state's polling places closed at the top of the hour. They're already releasing some numbers, 1% of the vote. Bernie Sanders, 36.3%. Michael Bloomberg, 23.5%. Joe Biden, 15.2%. The rest trailing. In Massachusetts right now, also very, very early. Joe Biden is ahead, 34.2%. Bernie Sanders, 25.6%. Elizabeth Warren, her home state, 24.5%. Bloomberg and Tulsi Gabbard trailing. Let's continue to Tennessee right now. There's Tennessee, 64 delegates at stake. Bloomberg slightly ahead of Joe Biden, 26.6% to 25.8%. Bernie Sanders, 20.8%. The rest trailing. 1% of the vote is in. Oklahoma right now, also 1% of the vote is in. Biden is ahead, 24.8%. Bloomberg is a close second, 20.8%. Bernie Sanders, a close third, 18.1%. The rest trailing, as you can see. In Maine right now, still very, very early. Biden is ahead, though, 38.3%. Bernie Sanders, 30.5%. Michael Bloomberg, 15.3%. The rest trailing. We have a key race alert right now. Let's take a look at what's going on. Tight in Texas, 12% of the estimated vote is in. Joe Biden is slightly ahead of Bernie Sanders by about 1,000 votes, 26.2% to 25.8% for Sanders. Bloomberg with 21.3%. The rest trail. Let's take a look at Tennessee. Also very tight, 16% of the vote now in. Bernie Sanders slightly ahead of Joe Biden, 24.4% to 23.8%. Bloomberg close behind, 23.1%. The rest trail. In Massachusetts right now, look at this. Joe Biden is ahead, 35.7%. Bernie Sanders in second place, 23.4%. Elizabeth Warren in third place. This is her home state, 20.8%. Bloomberg at 13.2%, 3% of the vote is in Massachusetts. In Oklahoma right now, 5% of the vote is in. Biden's on top with 25.3%. Bernie Sanders, 20.9%. Bloomberg close behind, 19.4%. The rest are trailing right now. Arkansas, look at this. Arkansas, very, very early in Arkansas right now, but Joe Biden is ahead with 40.6%. Bloomberg 17.9%, Bernie Sanders 16%. The rest trail right now. Let's take a look at Maine. 2% of the vote is in, very early there as well, but Biden is ahead, 37.1%. Bernie Sanders 33.6%. Polls will close in Texas, Colorado, and Minnesota. 370 delegates are up for grabs. That's more than half of them in Texas alone. The Lone Star State is the second biggest prize of the night. All right, we have a key race alert in Minnesota right now. According to our exit poll, the early leaders are Biden and Sanders. We cannot make a projection in Minnesota yet, but the early leaders, Biden and Sanders. Let's go to Colorado right now. Also, too early to call in Colorado right now. No projection available yet. The polls are closed in Texas right now. Take a look at the vote where it stands with 20% of the vote in all of Texas now closed. Bernie Sanders is ahead with 29.1%. Joe Biden second place, 22.5%. Bloomberg in third place, 17.6%. The rest trail. 228 delegates at stake.
Let's go to Wolf Blitzer now. He has a key race alert.
All right, we're getting a key race alert. The first number is coming in from Minnesota right now. Very, very early. Joe Biden is ahead, 43.4%. Bernie Sanders in second place, 23.6%. Elizabeth Warren with 16%. Bloomberg and Klobuchar, her home state, she dropped out. As you know, they trail. Anderson, over to you. Of the 8 states we're watching right now, Bernie Sanders is ahead in 2 of them. Biden is ahead in 6 of them. Let's get a key race alert right now, starting with the second biggest prize of the night. 228 delegates at stake in Texas. Right now, with 24% of the vote is in. Bernie Sanders is ahead, 28.8%. Joe Biden in second place, 22.3%. Bloomberg in third place, 18.5%. Elizabeth Warren, she's getting close to that 15% threshold that is required for delegates, 14.2%. Tulsi Gabbard not showing much at all. In Colorado, 67 delegates are at stake right now. 8% of the vote is in. Bernie Sanders is well ahead, 39.1%. Bloomberg, 22%. Biden, 21.9%. Warren is close to 15%, 13.9% right there. Tulsi Gabbard, only 1.2%. Let's go to Massachusetts right now. 11% of the vote is in. 91 delegates at stake. Biden seems to be ahead rather comfortably, 31.9%. 26.9% for Sanders, 23.7% for Elizabeth Warren. Remember, this is her home state. Right now, she's in third place. The rest trail right there. In Minnesota, right now, 14% of the vote is in. Biden is ahead, slightly ahead of Bernie Sanders, 35.1%, 32% for Bernie Sanders, 19.7% for Elizabeth Warren. The rest not competitive right now. In Tennessee right now, almost a third of the vote is in. 64 delegates are at stake. Biden is ahead comfortably, 35%. Bernie Sanders, 24.9%. Bloomberg, 18.4%. The rest not competitive right now. Oklahoma, 10% of the vote is in. 37 delegates at stake. Biden is ahead, 30.7%. Bernie Sanders, 21%. Bloomberg, 18.2%. Warren is close to the 15% threshold, 13%. Tulsi Gabbard not doing well. Arkansas right now, 31 delegates are at stake. 11% of the vote is in. Biden is ahead here as well. 26.1%, 23.3% for Bernie Sanders. Bloomberg, 18.2%. Elizabeth Warren below 15%, 12.4%. In Maine right now, 9% of the vote is in, and Bernie Sanders is Joe Biden is slightly ahead of Bernie Sanders, 35% to 33.5%. There's only a 230 vote difference. 9% of the vote is in. Elizabeth Warren approaching 15%, 14%. Bloomberg, 12.6%. We have another major projection right now. Take a look at this. CNN projects that Joe Biden will win the Democratic presidential primary in the state of Tennessee. 64 delegates at stake. Biden wins Tennessee. That's the CNN projection. So far, Biden has won Alabama, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia, doing incredibly well in the South following South Carolina on Saturday. Biden wins once again in Tennessee. You might say that. All right, we have another major projection right now. Take a look at this. CNN now projects that Bernie Sanders will win the Democratic presidential primary in Colorado, where 67 delegates are at stake. Bernie Sanders, the winner in Colorado. So far tonight, we've projected he wins Colorado and his home state of Vermont. So far, we've projected that Joe Biden wins Alabama, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia. All right, thanks very much. It's 10 o'clock, so we have a key race alert right now. Utah. The polls have just closed in Utah, 29 delegates at stake. Too early to call in Utah right now. We're watching Utah very closely as well. We're also watching 6 other contests very closely right now. Let's first of all take a look at the second biggest prize of the night, Texas, with 228 delegates. Bernie Sanders is ahead with 34% of the vote in, 28.2% to Joe Biden, 23.3%, Bloomberg 18.9%, Elizabeth Warren under 15%, 13.3%. She needs to be 15% to be viable. In Maine right now, almost a third of the vote is in, 24 delegates at stake. Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden very close. Only 587 votes separate the two. Sanders on top, 34.3%, Biden 33.3%. Elizabeth Warren, 16.3%. Bloomberg, Tulsi Gabbard below in the state of Maine. Let's go to Massachusetts right now. 21% of the vote is in. Look at this. Joe Biden is ahead right now with 33.5%. Bernie Sanders is in second place, 25.9%. This is Elizabeth Warren's home state. She's in third place right now with 21.4%. Let's go to Minnesota right now. Minnesota, 75 delegates at stake, 38% of the vote is in. Biden is ahead, 36.5%. Sanders, 31.5%. Elizabeth Warren, 17.2% in Minnesota. Biden is ahead right there. In Oklahoma, Biden is also ahead. Almost a third of the vote is in Oklahoma, 35.5%. Sanders, 23.9%. Bloomberg's just above 15%, 15.8%. Elizabeth Warren is below, only 13.3%. Arkansas, let's look at Arkansas right now. Almost a third of the vote is in, 31 delegates at stake. Biden is ahead by 8,902 votes, 30.9%. Bernie Sanders, 20.6%. Bloomberg, 20.4%. Elizabeth Warren below 15%. Let's look at states won so far by these candidates. And we'll put them up over there. States won by Joe Biden: Alabama, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Virginia. Pretty much of a sweep in the South. States won by Bernie Sanders: Colorado and his home state of Vermont. We got a major projection right now. And CNN projects that Joe Biden is the winner in Oklahoma. He's the winner of the Democratic presidential primary in Oklahoma. 37 delegates at stake. Biden wins in Oklahoma. Here are the states he's won so far tonight: Alabama, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Virginia. Bernie Sanders so far tonight, he's won Colorado and his home state of Vermont. All right, we have another major projection right now. Take a look at this. CNN now projects that Joe Biden is the winner in Arkansas, where 31 delegates are at stake. Joe Biden will win the Democratic presidential primary in Arkansas. There are now 6 states that he has won. They are Alabama, Arkansas, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Virginia. 6 states. Biden wins Arkansas. Bernie Sanders so far tonight has won Colorado as well as Vermont, his home state of Vermont. We have several more states to go, but that's where it stands right now. All right, we have another major projection right now. CNN now projects that Joe Biden will win the Democratic presidential primary in Minnesota, where there are 75 delegates at stake. Biden wins Minnesota. So far, he's won tonight Alabama, Arkansas, Minnesota, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Virginia. Bernie Sanders so far tonight, he has won Colorado and Vermont. Vermont, once again, his home state. Let's get a key race alert right now. All right, take a look at this. We're watching 4 states right now, and Bernie Sanders is winning in 3 of those states. Let's go to Utah first right now. 29 delegates at stake in Utah. 62% of the vote is in. Bernie Sanders is winning Utah, 31.5%. Bloomberg, 8%. Elizabeth Warren, 15.3%. Biden right now is in 4th place in Utah, 12.8%. In Texas right now, 41% of the vote is in. It's a big prize, 228 delegates at stake in Texas. Right now, Bernie Sanders is winning with 29%. Biden in 2nd place, 23.8%. Bloomberg in 3rd place, 18.4%. Elizabeth Warren, 13%. In Maine, right now, almost half of the vote is in, 24 delegates at stake. Bernie Sanders right now is slightly ahead of Joe Biden by 604 votes. 34.2% to 33.4%. Elizabeth Warren, she's down 16.3%. Bloomberg is trailing right now. In Massachusetts right now, remember, this is Elizabeth Warren's home state. Biden is winning with 39% of the vote in. He has 33.5%. Bernie Sanders in 2nd place, 25.9%. We're going to see what happens in the next few seconds. We're watching very closely the biggest Super Tuesday prize. Voting is about to end in California. A huge haul of delegates, 415. We got a key race alert right now. We cannot make a projection, but Bernie Sanders is the early leader in California. According to our CNN exit poll, Bernie Sanders, the early leader. Remember, 415 delegates are at stake in California. Bernie Sanders, the early leader.
We're not at the finish line yet, but a very disappointing performance at home.
We have a projection right now. The state of Utah right now, CNN projects that Bernie Sanders will be the Democratic presidential primary winner in the state of Utah, where 29 delegates are at stake right now. Sanders wins Utah. That means he's won 3 states so far tonight: Colorado, Utah, and Vermont. On the other hand, Joe Biden, he has won Alabama, Arkansas, Minnesota, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Virginia. Impressive wins right there, but Bernie Sanders right now on a roll out west, Jake and Dana, as we're watching all of this unfold.
We're going to go to Wolf Blitzer right now. Wolf?
All right, we have another major projection right now. CNN can now project that Joe Biden will be the Democratic presidential primary winner in the state of Massachusetts, where 91 delegates are at stake. Joe Biden wins Massachusetts. That means he has now won tonight Alabama, Arkansas, Massachusetts, Minnesota, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Virginia. So far tonight, Bernie Sanders has won Colorado, Utah, and Vermont. We're still waiting for Texas. We're still waiting for California. Those are the two biggest prizes of the night. But another win, you know, Elizabeth Warren was supposed to win in Massachusetts. It looks like she's going to come in third in her home state. That would be, presumably, that would be very good for Biden right now if they are split relatively evenly in Texas. All right, we got a key race alert right now. Let's take a look at what's going on in California. 3% of the vote is now in. Remember, this is the biggest prize of the night. 415 delegates at stake in California. Right now, Bernie Sanders is ahead. 25.6%. He's winning by more than 8,000 votes over Michael Bloomberg, who's in second place, 20.9%. Biden's in third place, 17.4%. Elizabeth Warren and Tulsi Gabbard, they trailing. Let's go over to John King, who's looking closely at California right now. This is, as I keep saying, the biggest prize of the night. All right, let's go to a key race alert right now. The two biggest prizes of the night, California and Texas. In California right now, 9% of the estimated vote is in. Remember, 415 delegates at stake. Bernie Sanders is leading, 26.4%. Michael Bloomberg in second place, 19.7%. Joe Biden in third place, 17.5%. He's above that 15% threshold. Elizabeth Warren, 11.2% in California. Let's take a look at Texas right now. It's very close in Texas. Less than half of the vote is now in, 48%. Remember, 228 delegates at stake in Texas. Bernie Sanders is ahead. Look at how close it is, 28.6%. Joe Biden in second place, 25.9%. Nobody else close right there. There's a battle going on. It got a little closer right there, 28.5% for Bernie Sanders, 26.7% for Joe Biden. We got a key race alert right now. Look at this. Wow. Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden, for all practical purposes, right now they are tied in the Democratic presidential primary. 56% of the vote is now in, 28.6% for Bernie Sanders, 28.6% for Joe Biden. Bernie Sanders is ahead by 450 votes. 450 votes. What a surprise this is. I don't think anyone was expecting it to be this close in Texas. Last time he was ahead, 16,000 votes ahead, 20,000 votes ahead. Now only 450 votes. All right, I got a key race alert. The two biggest prizes of the night, Texas and California. Let's take a look at Texas first. The second biggest prize, 228 delegates at stake. Almost 60% of the vote is now in. And look at this. Joe Biden is winning with 30.2%. Bernie Sanders in second place, 28.3%. Biden is ahead by almost 25,000 votes right now. Bloomberg, 16.8%. Let's take a look at California. Bernie Sanders is ahead. He's got a comfortable lead right now with a quarter of the vote in, 26%. Bernie Sanders, 28.6%. Michael Bloomberg in second place right now, 18.8%. Biden in third place, 17.3%. Bernie Sanders is ahead by 140,000 votes over Michael Bloomberg in California right now. All right, guys, thanks very much. We have a key race alert, and look at this. In Texas right now, Joe Biden is expanding his lead over Bernie Sanders with 60% of the vote now in. Joe Biden has 30.4%, Bernie Sanders 28.2%. Texas, the second biggest prize of the night. Biden is ahead now by 28,655 votes. That's a major, major development. In California, Bernie Sanders maintains his lead. He's got an impressive lead over Michael Bloomberg, who's in second place. 28.6% for Bernie Sanders, Bloomberg 18.8%, Biden 17.3%. California is the biggest prize of the night. Let's take a look at Maine right now. It's still a battle 89% of the vote is in Maine. Joe Biden is leading 33.8% to Bernie Sanders 32.3%. Very close in Maine. Biden is ahead by 2,660 votes in Maine. Those are the states that remain outstanding on this Super Tuesday. All right, got a key race alert. Take a look at this. In Texas right now, with 66% of the vote now in, 228 delegates at stake. Joe Biden, he's in the lead with 30.7%. Bernie Sanders in second place, 28.9%. Biden is ahead by nearly 27,000 votes in Texas. Who would have thought? Very, very impressive moment for Joe Biden right there. In California, very impressive for Bernie Sanders right there. Right now, 28% of the vote is in. The largest prize, 415 delegates at stake. Bernie Sanders has 28.4%. Bloomberg in second place, 18.6%. Biden right behind, 18%. Bernie Sanders is ahead by nearly 150,000 votes right now in California.
Here's what we don't know. Maine, 91% in. Biden with a very small lead. Interesting regional play. Obviously, New England, the home for both of these men, Delaware and Vermont. But California and Texas is the story of the night, okay? For Joe Biden to be where he is in Texas right now would have been unthinkable just days ago, let alone what we're dealing with. 32,000 votes ahead right now. You see on the bottom of the screen, 70% in, still a long way to go. Things could change. Certainly, that's the story in California. Notoriously, takes a long time for the vote to come in. Obviously, you got an extra hour and a time change issue as well, but 32% only in. We're going to be watching that all night long. Why? It's going to tell you different stories of the themes of the night. How does the Latino vote come in? What areas of concentration matter between Sanders and Biden? And also, what does this state tell us about the other two people in the race? Michael Bloomberg has a big decision to make. Elizabeth Warren, sobering night. Now, this is what we see. We'll be watching it all night, but let's get inside the metric. Welcome back to our continuing coverage. This is history being made. The Democrats have a whole new race on their hands. Just days ago, you would have never seen this coming. Joe Biden in the lead over Bernie Sanders in Texas. Sanders running very strong tonight, where he was expected to, as he is expected to. Biden is the surprise. Now, there are also going to be big implications for Michael Bloomberg and Elizabeth Warren. We're going to get to that. Warren is having a tough time qualifying with 15% in a majority of the 14 states tonight. But at the top, 50,000 ahead right now. You see 77% in vote-wise. That's moved up a little bit recently. We've seen some vote total bumps in Dallas County and in Harris County.
Votes are still coming in Texas, they're coming in California, and they're coming in Maine. Let's put up the vote totals if you'll look now. There's Texas. 228 delegates at stake here, but look at that. Joe Biden ahead 33.2% to Bernie Sanders 29.3%. That's 82% in. It was thought, if you had asked folks a couple of hours ago, at least maybe a day ago, maybe 72 hours ago, if you thought Joe Biden would be in the lead, they would have told you no way. But again, 82% of the vote count in. Let's put up California now, where there is still a pretty healthy lead here, but most folks would have thought Bernie Sanders would be in the lead. I'm going to get to Ron Brownstein in a little bit here, but he thought it maybe at least by 40 would have 40% now, but he's got almost 30%, 29.7%. Joe Biden has 20.2%, but it's just 37% of the vote count in. Move on to Maine now. Those votes still out. 24 delegates at stake here. 91% of the vote in. Joe Biden is leading 33.8, a narrow lead here to 32.2%. Wow.
CNN can now project that Joe Biden will win the state of Texas. This is the story of the night for Joe Biden. It's the biggest projection of the night. Now, obviously, it's the second biggest state, right? California has the most delegates. But for Joe Biden to win Texas, this is the story of the night. Such a surprise. He didn't even spend enough money going into Super Tuesday to make the list of people who had spent money in any kind of reasonable amounts. Now, if you look at what that tells us about the standings. Look, Bernie Sanders is going to have to deal with his own success in the past and what was his expectation. He has 3 states, Colorado, Utah, Vermont. You have Biden, obviously, now with 8 states on his side of the ledger. Alabama, Arkansas, Massachusetts, Minnesota, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, as I just told you, and Virginia. The big prize of the night with all the delegates is obviously California. And that is still too early to call. Bernie Sanders doing very well. Ton of delegates. Take a look at the votes. Here we are in California. Bernie Sanders, healthy lead right now, 45% estimate of the vote. You will see some people making projections. We are not. The tail of the tape there, big number to actually look at, is not that Biden is doing as well as he was, because he was nowhere in California just 10, 12 days ago. But Bloomberg, got to watch that number there and in Texas. If Bloomberg doesn't make it to 15% in California and Texas, it's going to be hard for him to justify moving on. That's the threshold number to get any delegates. We're also showing you Maine because even with 91%, the race is still too close to call. Now you're thinking, but Maine, 24 delegates, why? It's a great metaphor state. 4 years ago, if you look at how Bernie Sanders did there, he was dominant. Yes, there were fewer people in the race, but it also says something about what is new that we saw tonight. Bernie Sanders has the momentum. He has a movement. He has the organization. He has money. But the Bernie bros did not come to play today, Phil Mattingly. We did not see any evidence of big revolutionary type turnout of votes. We didn't see it. And what we did see is in suburbs, Joe Biden coming to play in a way that no one expected, especially in Texas. He wound up taking it. What stands out to you?
Senator Sanders is also leading this morning by a healthy margin in California. That's the biggest prize of the night with 415 delegates at stake. They are still counting in California and will be for some days, so the final margins will not be known for some time there. They're also still counting in Maine. Let's take a look at where things are in Maine. Joe Biden holding on to a 1-point lead as of now. Maine is interesting because Maine was a state that Bernie Sanders did win in 2016. At this moment, Joe Biden is leading in the delegate count as well. I think this was an outcome people did not expect coming into Super Tuesday. We should note, though, still a heap of Super Tuesday delegates yet to be assigned, and ballots mailed in California by yesterday, they will be counted until Friday.
Voting ends in Mississippi, Missouri, and North Dakota. 118 delegates are on the line in those 3 states. This is the first test of the night for Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. And we have our first projection of the night. Bernie Sanders, not happening right now. Joe Biden is the winner of the Mississippi primary. Joe Biden carries Mississippi. There we have it, right there. You can see it. Maybe you can't see it. We'll fix that technical problem. But the most important thing is this: Joe Biden is the winner. Joe Biden is the winner in Mississippi. It's another southern state that goes for the former vice president of the United States. It's a big win in Mississippi. It shows that he has been able to win most, if not all, of those southern states, in part due to the large African-American vote in those southern states in the Democratic contest. Joe Biden, once again, the winner, the big winner in Mississippi. As far as Missouri is concerned, North Dakota is concerned, too early to call. Anderson, we have a key race alert right now, our first key race alert. As far as the all-important state of Michigan is concerned, 125 delegates are at stake. Very, very early, less than 1% of the vote. The estimated vote is in. Bernie Sanders has a lead right now, 51.4% to Joe Biden's 46.2%. But you can see it's very early. Bernie Sanders ahead by 463 votes right now in Michigan. It's the biggest prize of the night on this Super Tuesday. Round 2, we're watching it very closely. We have a key race alert. Let's check the numbers right now in Michigan. Very early, only 1% of the estimated vote may be in. Take a look at this right now. Joe Biden slightly ahead over Bernie Sanders, 49.1%, 47% for Bernie Sanders, only a lead of 432 votes. Very, very early. Michigan, the biggest prize of the night with 125 delegates at stake. In Missouri, 68 delegates are at stake right now. Still very early, as you can see. Biden ahead significantly, 47.1%. There it is, just changed, 46.6%, 18.1% for Bernie Sanders in Missouri. But once again, very, very early. All right, David, stand by. We have another key race alert right now. All right, look at this. 21% of the vote in Michigan is now in. 125 delegates are at stake. Joe Biden has a considerable lead, 52.1% to Bernie Sanders, 43.2%. Right now, Joe Biden is ahead of Bernie Sanders by more than 30,000 votes. In 21% of the estimated vote is in. Very small vote so far in Missouri right now. 1%, if that, of the vote is in. Biden has a considerable lead, though, of 45.7% to Bernie Sanders, 18%. 68 delegates once again at stake in Missouri. He does have an early lead in Michigan. We have another major projection right now. And CNN projects that Joe Biden will win the state of Missouri. Joe Biden, the Democratic presidential primary winner in Missouri, 68 delegates at stake. This is his second win. Mississippi goes for Biden. Now Missouri goes for Biden. An important win for Joe Biden. Certainly, they would be cheering at his headquarters right now, but they canceled those rallies on both sides. All right, we got a key race alert coming in from Michigan right now. That's the biggest prize potentially of the night. 125 delegates are at stake. 29% of the vote is now in, and Joe Biden continues to lead impressively, 51.6% to Bernie Sanders, 43%. Biden is ahead right now by 48,000 votes in Michigan. The last polling places are about to close in Michigan. It's the top prize once again. 125 delegates are up for grabs, and it may have a significant impact on the fight for the Democratic nomination. We have a key race alert right now. Too early to call in the state of Michigan. 125 delegates at stake. Biden and Sanders, too early to call. Right now, 44% of the vote is actually in. All the polling places in Michigan have closed. And Biden is ahead, 78,000 votes ahead of Bernie Sanders, 52.8% to 41.7%. So far, with 44% of the vote is in, looking good for Joe Biden right now. And, John, we have a major projection right now. And take a look at this. CNN now projects Joe Biden is the winner in Michigan. 125 delegates are at stake. Joe Biden is the Democratic presidential primary winner in Michigan. So far tonight, he has won Michigan, Mississippi, and Missouri. Three important states, very significant wins for the former vice president. Jake and Dana, this is what Biden was really hoping for. So far, he's getting what he hoped for. North Dakota, too early to call between Biden and Sanders. No projection yet. Just want to point out that the polls have now closed in Washington State and Idaho. Too early to call. CNN is not yet able to make a projection. All right, we got a key race alert right now. Look at this. Washington State, where 89 delegates are at stake, 68% of the vote is now in. Look at how close it is between Biden and Sanders. 32.7%, 32.7%. Biden is ahead right now by 60 votes. 60 votes. He has 334,701. Bernie Sanders, 334,641. A 60-vote lead for Biden right now in Washington State. Look at Idaho right now, much smaller state, 20 delegates at stake. Biden is ahead, 46.3%. Bernie Sanders, 35.7%. 39% of the vote in Idaho is now in. Biden is ahead by 3,325 votes. All right, Anderson, back to you.
All right, we have a key race alert. You can see behind me, Washington, a dead heat, literally to the 10th of the percentage point. Technically, Joe Biden is 60 votes ahead. You don't get closer than that in a state like that. Idaho, you see a little bit of a different story, 42% in, too soon to call. Polls closed at 11 Eastern time, right? And North Dakota. Once again, you see the story on the wall. We're watching these states. All right, let me get in a key race alert here. Just look over my shoulder. Look what's going on in Washington now. Bernie Sanders up 2,000 votes. Now, what dampens that as a potential victory? It's proportionate. So even if you win, it's about how many delegates each get. The split stays about the same, and that's what makes it so hard to catch up in a primary. Idaho, You see 47-1 there. Again, 77%. We're getting closer to a threshold account there where you may get a projection at some point soon. Biden up 4,500 votes. And, of course, North Dakota, very tight. 393 votes separating the two men. By percentage, it's a big deal because you only have 37% of the precincts reporting. All right, that's a quick taste of what's going on right now. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to have more on the coronavirus outbreak on the other side. We have new cases, but more importantly, we got new perspective for you. Next. All right, CNN can now project that Idaho will go to Joe Biden. 20 delegates at stake. This a continuation of a big night for Joe Biden. And really, it was even more important for Bernie Sanders. That's what needed to happen tonight. Bernie Sanders needed to make his case, especially in Michigan, but in as much of the board as he could. So let's talk about how. All right, we're showing you the states won tonight. Idaho, Michigan, Mississippi, and Missouri. There's still a few others that we are following, but this is another one that you can put on the board. It's now done. Idaho goes to Joe Biden. You see the margin there, 5,000 votes, but by percentage it was bigger because it was a low vote state. All right, welcome to our special coverage on CNN. There are now at least 1,000 confirmed cases of coronavirus in the United States. The number's been rising throughout the night. It's going to continue, okay? That's the reality. In fact, I don't even know that we should even count it that incrementally. We're going to be at this for a while. We're playing catch up, but we're going to be okay. Now, our election is happening in this context. Here's the latest. Washington State, 2,000 votes between Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden. Interesting thing about Washington, nobody went to vote today. Every vote is mail-in. North Dakota, this is a caucus state. 515 votes separate the two individuals. We're going to be following it throughout the night. A lot more of our coverage right after this.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Welcome to our viewers in the United States and all around the world. This is a special edition of New Day. It is Wednesday, March 11th, 6 o'clock now in New York, and we do have breaking news on two major stories. First, Joe Biden in command of the Democratic race for president, firmly in command, so much so that there are questions this morning about whether Bernie Sanders will even stay in the race. The former vice president had decisive victories in Idaho, Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri. Michigan, I think, the biggest and most symbolic. This is a state that Bernie Sanders did win 4 years ago, but overnight, Biden won with a huge margin.
John, there are two states that have not yet been called. Those are Washington and North Dakota. Sanders was counting on a decisive victory, you'll remember, in Washington state, but they are in a virtual tie at the moment. Bernie Sanders at 32.7%, Joe Biden at 32.5%. Votes are still being counted at this hour. In North Dakota at the moment, Sanders is ahead with 48.5% there. Here's the delegate count right now. Biden at 787, Sanders at 647.
All right, we do have breaking news in the 2020 race. A projection on New Day. CNN now projects that Senator Bernie Sanders will win North Dakota's Democratic primary. Once again, Bernie Sanders, CNN projects, has won North Dakota. You can see there, yes, 53 to 39%. It's a spread of less than 2,000 votes. Not a lot of people voting there in a party-run primary. It's not a caucus. It's not the same thing as a fully open primary. It's a party-run primary, but you can see Bernie Sanders winning there, his only win so far of the night. The delegate spread there won't be that big, and there aren't that many delegates up for stake. We should note that in Washington state, they are still counting votes. Sanders is ahead, but it's very, very close, and there's still a lot of mail-in ballots to be counted.
All right, guys, we have a key race alert right now, our first key race alert of the night. Look at this. With 11% of the vote in Florida now in 219 delegates at stake, Joe Biden has a very, very commanding lead. He's got 59.4% to Bernie Sanders' 18.3%. He's up by more than 100,000 votes right now in Florida. Let's go over to John King at the Magic Wall. That's a very impressive start for the former vice president. We have a key race alert right now. Look at this. 22% of the vote in Florida is now in, and Joe Biden has almost 60% of the vote, 59.1%. Bernie Sanders 19.6%. Right now, Joe Biden is ahead by more than 200,000 votes. 219 delegates are at stake. That's the biggest prize of the night. Let's go back to John King. John, almost a quarter of the vote is in, and Biden is doing really, really well. All right, we got a key race alert right now coming in from Florida. 56% of the vote is now in, and look at this. Joe Biden has 60.1%, Bernie Sanders 21.8%. Biden is ahead right now by almost 500,000 votes. 219 delegates at stake in Florida, the biggest prize of the night. Looks like a blowout, John, is about to happen.
Let's go to Wolf, and then we'll have more.
We got a key race alert coming in right now. Let's take a look at Florida. 65% of the vote is now in. 219 delegates at stake, the biggest prize of the night. Look at this. Joe Biden has 60.3%. Bernie Sanders only 21.9%. Biden is ahead by 500,000 votes right now. The last polling places in Florida are about to close, as well as in Illinois. Look at this. We have a CNN major projection right now. Joe Biden is the winner in the Democratic presidential primary in Florida, where 219 delegates are at stake, the biggest prize of the night. Joe Biden, the winner in Florida. In Illinois, too early to call right now. Some of the areas in Cook County, they have an extra hour to vote. No projection in Illinois right now, where 155 delegates are at stake. Welcome back to our coverage. Super Tuesday 3. I'm Wolf Blitzer here in the CNN Election Center. Once again, we want to welcome our viewers here in the United States and around the world. We've got a key race alert right now. Joe Biden is the winner in Florida, 219 delegates at stake. The former vice president of the United States wins decisively in Florida, the biggest prize of the night. In Illinois right now, with 155 delegates at stake, we still believe it's too early to call. We are waiting for all the polling places in Cook County, Chicago, to close. Perhaps we'll be able to make a projection. Let's take a look at the vote right now in Illinois. Let's start in Illinois. 10% of the vote is actually in. Biden has an impressive lead over Bernie Sanders. 57.3% to 37% for Bernie Sanders. He's ahead by almost 33,000 votes. Only 10% of the vote is in Illinois, but Biden has an impressive lead so far with 10% of the vote in. Race alert right now. Take a look at this. Illinois, 20% of the vote now in. The second biggest prize of the night, 155 delegates at stake. Joe Biden is ahead impressively, 56.5% to 38.3% for Bernie Sanders. He's up by almost 60,000 votes right there. We have a projection right now. Joe Biden is the winner in Illinois. He wins the Democratic presidential primary in Illinois, his second big win of the night. 155 delegates in Illinois. He has won tonight. He's won Florida. We projected that a while ago. And Illinois right now. Two big wins for Joe Biden against Bernie Sanders.
Listen, we have some breaking news that we need to report to you about Super Tuesday. CNN is ready now to project Arizona for Joe Biden.
Okay, while you were sleeping, we have a new delegate count. Here is where it stands right now after Joe Biden picked up big wins in Arizona, Florida, and Illinois.
For you in the 2020 presidential race, CNN is projecting Joe Biden now has the number of delegates needed to secure the Democratic presidential nomination.
Results from recent primaries allowed him to secure the necessary 1,991 delegates to claim the nomination at the party's convention, now scheduled for August. On the first ballot, the former vice president released a statement. Here's part of it. It was an honor to compete alongside one of the most talented groups of candidates the Democratic Party has ever fielded. And I'm proud to say that we are going into this general election a united party. I'm going to spend every day between now and November 3rd fighting to earn the votes of all Americans across this great country so that together we can win the battle for the soul of this nation and make sure that as we rebuild our economy, everyone comes along.